Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you're in global manufacturing or supply chain management, you're going to want to circle August 2026 on your calendar in permanent marker. Seriously, the European Union just dropped an absolute regulatory anvil regarding global trade compliance, and the ripple effects, well, they're going to hit literally every factory and shipping port worldwide. So let's cut through all the noise and dive into exactly what this means for your day-to-day operations. Here's our game plan for today. We'll start with the EU's latest announcement, then break down what CBAM actually is. After that, we'll hit the August 2026 deadline, look at the impact on global exporters, and finally, talk about how to navigate these new rules. Okay, let's jump right into part one, the EU's latest announcement. So this major policy update establishes a seriously urgent timeline for global trade compliance. Basically, the EU is officially ending the era of the free carbon pass for imported goods. You see, historically, strict environmental regulations kind of priced European manufacturers out of their own markets, while cheaper, heavily carbon-intensive international goods, think massive shipments of steel, cement, and fertilizers, just flooded right in. Well, this announcement sets the clock ticking to close that massive loophole, which has cost billions in what we call carbon leakage. And honestly, turning a multi-tier supply chain around is like turning a cargo ship. It takes years, which is exactly why you need to care about this today. Moving on to Section 2. What is CBAM exactly? CBAM. It stands for the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism. It sounds super technical, I know, but simply put, it's basically just a carbon tariff levied on imported goods entering the EU. If your non-EU manufacturing process emits carbon, the EU is going to apply a tariff right at their border to account for those exact emissions. No way around it. It is a direct, unavoidable financial cost tied directly to your environmental footprint. Think about it like this. For years, domestic EU manufacturers have paid a pretty steep premium for regional carbon pricing, which obviously drives up their production costs. Meanwhile, global exporters who didn't have to deal with those strict carbon rules could produce goods way cheaper, completely undercutting the European market. Well, CBAM completely changes that math. By slapping equivalent carbon tariffs on imported goods, the EU is effectively leveling the playing field. The whole point here is to stop that carbon leakage we talked about earlier. They want to prevent companies from just, packing up and moving production to countries with weaker environmental rules just to save a quick buck.
All right, Section 3, the August 2026 deadline.
Now, I know abstract dates can feel a bit distant, but when we actually map this timeline out, the threat becomes incredibly real. Right now, we are smack in the middle of the lead-up phase. This is the era of intense preparation and deep supply chain mapping. And let's be real, tracking carbon all the way down through multi-tier global supply chains is notoriously difficult. It's like a giant puzzle. You absolutely cannot wait until July 2026 to start figuring this out, because once we hit August 2026, it's the full implementation of the CBAM mechanism. If your groundwork isn't totally locked in right now, you are looking at severe supply chain bottlenecks and, frankly, crippling tariffs at the border.
Which brings us to Section 4, impact on global exporters.
So, what does this actually mean for you? These shifts are going to fundamentally alter your daily operations in three major ways. First up, shifted supply chain dynamics. Sourcing the absolute cheapest raw materials? Yeah, that's no longer the winning formula. Actually, a greener, slightly more expensive supplier might end up being the cheaper choice overall once those CBAM tariffs hit. Crazy, right? Second, new compliance burdens. Exporters are going to have to rigorously document, verify, and report their emissions. So welcome to the era of mandatory carbon accounting. And third, potential adjustments to global manufacturing. Just to stay competitive, manufacturers might be forced to invest in cleaner tech, literally retrofitting how products move down the assembly line. Finally, let's look at Section 5, navigating the new rules. If you're managing a supply chain, you need to execute these 3 steps immediately. Step 1, assess your carbon footprint. You need total, granular visibility into your embedded emissions. Why? Because you simply cannot manage what you don't measure. Step 2, map out your EU export volume to calculate your exact financial exposure. I mean, if a massive chunk of your revenue relies on Europe, this is an absolute code red priority. And Step 3, prepare for upcoming compliance metrics. You've got to invest in the right software, train your teams, and secure those third-party auditors right now. Being proactive today is literally what prevents your goods from getting seized at the border tomorrow. So, we've covered the EU's new mechanism, the incredibly rapid timeline, those sweeping financial impacts, and the specific steps you've got to take to prepare.
August 2026 is going to sneak up much, much faster than most global manufacturers realize, and it's bringing a ruthless new era of carbon accountability right along with it. So, looking at your own operations, your data visibility, and your entire manufacturing footprint, I want to leave you with one absolutely vital question. Is your supply chain ready?